Hey y'all, it's your girl Angel Sunshine, and welcome back to the Collective Classroom, where healing becomes the lesson. Today's lesson is about survival mode and what happens when a person forgets how to feel safe. Some people have been surviving for so long they no longer recognize peace when it finally arrives. Blessed is the daughter who was set carrying traumas of the mothers who came before her. Before we begin today's lesson, let's see what the energy is guiding in the collective. We have the King of Swords. The King of Swords is all about authority and being logic. The King of Swords is also a card about the truth. Accepting the truth, acknowledging the truth, and allowing the truth to move you forward in life. We also have the Hermit card. This is a time of introspection. When you're in survival mode, you need to be able to go within to see what it is that's putting you in that energy. And most of the times, it's because a tower moment has happened to your life. Something happened that was so drastic that it shook you up to the point where you had to learn how to survive instead of living. This is the energy of people who learn strength very early. So maybe at a young age, you had to go through some things. Maybe at a young age, you had to grow up fast. Maybe at a young age, you didn't even have a chance to be a child because you was placed in survival mode. Survival mode isn't always dramatic. It isn't what people make it seem to be. Trauma rewires the nervous system. So when you go through traumatic events in life, this puts you in the energy of surviving. Emotional safety matters as well when it comes down to survival mode. If you don't feel safe in the environment, if you don't feel safe around somebody, you're going to find yourself living in survival mode. You could have grew up with it was a lot of chaos around you. So much chaos that it was normalized to be okay, as if this was how life was supposed to be living. Even peace could seem unfamiliar to you, collective, because of the time you spent in survival mode. Some people learn armor before they learn softness. Feeling your emotions is a way to help you come out of this energy. You know, going within yourself is another way to help you down your path to find yourself out of this energy. Peace feels unfamiliar to a nervous system raised in chaos. So if you grew up around chaos, peace seems very unfamiliar to you. So it could be times in your life where you be like, this is too good to be true, or this is going too well, or I know something is going to go wrong because something always goes wrong, And collective, this is the energy that you want to try to pull yourself out of, because if it's things that you want in life, far as chasing your dreams or manifesting your goals, these things will never come with you in this kind of energy. In survival mode, you cannot produce in survival mode because you're too busy focusing on surviving instead of building. The body remembers what the mind tries to move fast. Unexpressed emotions, they don't die. They just get uglier. So even if, let's say, for example, collective, you was in a connection and this connection forced you into survival mode. If you don't heal that, the next person you date, you're going to find yourself in survival mode as well. So even though you try to erase certain things that happened to you in life, traumatic things or things that broke your heart, whether you feel like you're moving on from it, your nervous system does not forget it at all. Working with children taught me something heartbreaking. You know, children normalize emotional pain faster than adults realize. So the things that you went through as a child, maybe your mom or your dad didn't recognize how fast you was able to emotionally process and understand it. I've seen kids carry emotional weight too heavy for their age and still come outside smiling, still try to live life, still try to go to school, still try to push forward. I was one of those kids. Eventually, adults do the same thing. So if you don't heal that survival mode as a child, when you grow up, it will be the same energy as when you was young. And some people survive emotionally for so long that they forget what it feels like to just live. Healing isn't just mental. the body has to learn safety too. Some people are physically resting while emotionally still preparing for a war. I don't know if you guys ever seen The Pursuit of Happiness, but this is the prime example of survival mode. Will Smith was doing everything he could to take care of his family. He was trying to find a good job, a good paying job. But eventually, his wife left him and everything fell apart. It was just him and his son. He was on a pursuit to find happiness, you know? And survival mode is all about the pursuit. Because when you really trying to survive in life, you don't really have the time to live. So if I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get rent, or I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get food, or I'm trying to figure out how, I'm going to make it to work the next day. These are the things that keep us stuck in survival mode, collective. But I'm here to tell you today, in the collective classroom, that survival mode is not something that you have to be stuck in. It's not a place that the Holy Spirit brought you here to remain stuck in. Survival mode was just meant to teach you, not to keep you. Do you understand that? Sometimes these things turn into anger, but you got to remember, collective, that anger was once love. So there's some things, collective, that it's time for you to move on from, and these may be things that's keeping you in survival mode. But healing only happens by feeling. You cannot run from your emotions. You cannot run from what happened to you. You cannot run from the way that things turned out in your life. These things happen just to teach you so you could be able to learn how to live. Spiritual growth is the real growth out here in the world. Healing isn't learning how to fight harder, collective. Sometimes it's teaching your body that the war is over. You are allowed to rest now, collective. You don't have to worry about being in survival mode no longer. Whatever placed you in that energy has now passed and gone. And know that it happened only to teach you how to survive. Because a lot of people don't know how to survive, collective. So I think you should give yourself a pat on the back. Remember to click the subscriber button. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Holla.